Anyway, without further ado, let me hand over to Bob Lacey, who can tell you a bit more about the local branch in Eastbourne. Bob.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Eastbourne and the South East Area Conference, where if the sun isn't shining, it actually isn't shining anywhere. In fact, today we've actually ordered a thunderstorm for the drips outside. It's also the town where UKIP comfortably topped the poll in the recent Euro elections, and where our membership has tripled in 1 year. A lot of this is a tribute to our chairman, Alan Tysers, who has unswervingly put forward the UKIP case again and again to the people in Eastbourne. Welcome to a town of 90,000 people, with a hinterland of a similar number, whose hospital services are under constant threat by this government, and where an imploded and diminished Conservative Party hopes and prays that UKIP voters will, like docile sheep, return to the fold for the forthcoming general election and the full all-out council elections next year. We run a 4-year election cycle here in Eastbourne, so we in UKIP are quite looking forward to those elections. Here, Labour Party members are like unicorns. Everyone knows what one looks like, but no one's ever really seen one. The town has a Liberal Democrat MP and a Liberal Democrat local council, in power, but rarely, if ever, in control. I joined UKIP at the end of December 2012. I would have joined earlier, but I didn't believe it was right to actually belong to two different parties in the same year. I was fed up with the arrogant attitude of the Notting Hill elite, who agreed grubby deals with the Liberals, who most political observers could easily point out would renege on any deal, any promise, if it politically suited them, and which they promptly did on free university tuition fees when the keys of the ministerial Daimler were dangled in front of their starstruck eyes. It was apparent from the very outset that they would not keep that promise, to reduce their total number of constituencies either. Calamity Clegg was well named, and Disingenuous Dave was little better. There was the extraordinary and uncalled for legislation on gay marriage. There was no mandate for it, and even the gay community had not pressed for it. The shifty, broken promise of a referendum of the EU was thrown to one side, and the constant refrain of the if culture, if I'm elected, if this, if that, maybe next year, these were the promises that were thrown out instead, proved beyond all doubt that Disingenuous Dave had become Dodgy Dave. He wanted power at any price, and he still doesn't get the voters' message. He doesn't know that it is wrong to do that which is not right. Just over a year ago, here in Sussex, we secured significant gains in the county council elections. Overall, we gained 7 seats in East Sussex and 10 in West Sussex. Here in Eastbourne, our story and experience resonate with other constituencies throughout the country. It would probably be true to say that we were ill-prepared for those victories, so we decided to address the perceived problems head-on. We suffered from a low membership base, a lack of suitable candidates, a woefully poor delivery network, and an acute lack of awareness of where our voting strength actually came from. We had been thinking and acting along the existing lines of ward and division structures. Statistically, we had come third in the constituency vote, but actually second in 7 out of the 9 divisions here in Eastbourne. So near, and yet so far. Instead of merely participating in future elections, putting up candidates merely to provide an alternative for voters, we resolved to go out and to win. And that is what we've just done in the Euro elections. We held meetings to listen to voters. Attendance started at a dozen enthusiasts and swiftly grew to 75 or 80 for each meeting. Numbers not seen by other parties, Conservative, Lib Dems or Labour, in decades. We shipped in brilliant speakers like the redoubtable Janice Atkinson, the heroine of Eastleigh, Diane James, and the ever ebullient Ray Finch. People liked them, applauded them at what they heard, and revelled in the opportunity to say what they felt and put forward their views, unconstrained by political correctness, media bias, and ill-timed interruptions from some speakers and who really in the media should know better. We even had visits to our meetings from the demoralised Tories, some of them actually joined, and the dispirited Liberals. They tried to influence our meetings, but merely they exhibited their fear. We listened to our new supporters, and this is what they told us. They opposed foreign adventures that resulted in wars that spin out of control and where brave men died for their country. People thought it bizarre to admit 4 million newcomers to Britain and then complained that there's a housing shortage, and suddenly realised there are enormous and unsustainable pressures on school braces and hospital services. They felt that £55 million a day contribution to the European Union was a scandalous waste of financial resources. Better surely to have improved local hospital services, fully staffed maternity units, and properly planned infrastructural development instead. They even knew that the EU appointed auditors had refused to sign off the accounts of the EU for a dozen years or more. If that occurred in any British organisation, then that entity would be wound up, and the incompetents would, quite rightly, be detained at Her Majesty's pleasure. Here in Eastbourne, we are already advanced in approving prospective candidates for the council elections in May 2015. Many will be in place by September of this year so that they can canvass effectively and become known in the wards that they will be contesting. Under the clear direction of our enthusiastic chairman, Alan Ticehurst, we established a policy forum. Actually, it was his idea, but it's a good idea anyway, which covered the areas of interest in health, education, housing, transport, infrastructure and finance. Each approved council candidate has been automatically assigned membership to the forum and encouraged to take an active role in at least one of those topics. By doing this now, well ahead of the local elections next year, we shall develop a local manifesto which is suitable, practical, achievable and appropriate for our town. And can I finally say that we meet after an historic election victory in the European elections, securing 4 MEP seats in the South East constituency. We're proud of that, and we know that they will go forward and represent our views on the national and European scene. Here in Eastbourne, our vote soared from last year's local elections of 6,000 plus to 9,500 plus, and we all know it could have been more. A massive swing in our political fortune, and we are not intending to surrender that gained advantage. We trounced the Conservatives, who scraped just 7,000 votes, and the ruling Liberal Democrats that have fallen to a miserable 4,000 votes. We have every intention to repeat that magnificent performance once again, only this time we shall do so with a stronger team, a focused and practical political agenda, a super and ever-expanding delivery network, and an enthusiasm that knows no bounds. Our message to our neighbours and friends throughout the southeast of England is straightforward as it is direct. We shall aim for victory without triumphalism. We seek power to crush the inert status quo, and we shall do it all with hard work and good old-fashioned British common sense. Thank you.